For a long time now, I've been distrustful of authority. I've been of the opinion that what's pushed from on high is not something that can particularly be trusted. And this has been my perspective for much of my adult life in one form or another. But that opinion has really shifted into overdrive in the last year and a half with everything that has gone down, and all of the emergency powers that have been granted to the powers that be, all the so-called emergency powers, the powers they have assumed. Now, I've known for a while. I've been of the opinion, of the belief for a long while, that the government is more or less a joke insofar as, or vis-a-vis the Constitution. You know, a newly elected president swears an oath on the Constitution. People who are elected say that they will abide by the Constitution. Anybody who becomes initiated into the political power structure says in some official form of speaking, you know, that they are pledged to honor and uphold the Constitution. Well, that is an outright joke, because nothing that the government, the American government, the United States government, certainly not the federal government or many of the state governments either, none of the way that they behave in any way resembles faintly what is prescribed by the Constitution. So that's the larger issue here. You know, we left constitutionalism behind a long time ago. But what I want to really hone in on here is the fact that there is nothing in the Constitution which says if something unprecedented happens, and you know they love to use these terms like unprecedented. This is unprecedented. Oh, this virus, this pandemic is unprecedented. People have never gotten sick before. You know, people have never gotten sick of an illness that has a 99% plus survivability rate before. That's never happened before. This is so unprecedented. So anyway, that's this. You know, that's just the most recent excuse that they've used to declare that they have powers that are not given to them in any way under the Constitution. There is nothing in the Constitution which says if something happens that throws everybody off, then the governing powers have the right to suspend the rights and freedoms that are enshrined in the Constitution and assume emergency powers for an undisclosed period of time, i.e. give themselves the power and the authority to tell people that they have to close down their businesses, to tell people that they have to close down schools, to tell people that they have to wear pieces of cloth over their faces, to tell people that they can't assemble, to tell people that you know that freedom of speech is now you know, circumscribed by circumstances. None of that is in the Constitution in any form or manner. So this is all a preamble, much like the preamble to the Declaration of Independence, although not as eloquent as that by far. But anyway, all of this is a reason why I felt inspired to write my latest novel, The Insurrectionist. The Insurrectionist is set in a dystopian future, but not a far-flung future. It's set a few years from now. It's not you know, topical in the sense that it talks about the most recent sham of an election, or the so-called virus crisis, the so-called pandemic, or any of the other issues that have been current for the last year and a half, or the mob rule, the cessation of the rule of law, the public shaming of tradition, and the public shaming of certain ethnicities and certain genders and so forth, and everything else that's been going on. None of that. It's not topical in any of those senses, because I wouldn't really want to write something that's just about what's going on today, or what was especially happening for most of the year 2020. But it is topical in that it's about a future which I believe the ruling class, or what I might call the guardian class, the would-be guardian class, those who have arrogated to themselves the power and the authority to see to it, to rule the rest of humanity, and who believe they know what is best for the rest of humanity, and who believe in controlling, not only the world economy, but generally speaking, controlling the human population, including controlling controlling the population insofar as the depopulation agenda, but in addition to so many other things. So the Insurrectionist is set in a time. It could be like 5 years in the future, it could be 7 years in the future, perhaps 10 years in the future. But it's more or less, it's a dystopia. But I usually, for most of my life, I thought of dystopias as like this kind of far-flung notion. Wouldn't it be terrible if certain ideas were to suddenly predominate, suddenly take over, and we suddenly found ourselves in this kind of society. This is not speculative. This fiction, although it's dystopian fiction, and in a sense it's science fiction, it's not really speculative fiction. It's based on reality. It's based on real trends. I mean, just pay attention. Just look up the Great Reset. Look up the new normal. Look up any number of buzzwords that this would-be ruling class, this guardian class, is trying to seed into public consciousness, and you'll find that the kind of culture and society which you see in the Insurrectionist, which is also a society where there has been a sudden reduction of the human population due to an apparent alien attack on numerous cities across the world. Very convenient, that, not to give anything away, but I mean, you see them talking about aliens now as well. There's for years and years, for decades and decades, however you may feel about the notion of aliens and UFOs and that sort of thing. And I don't know how I feel about any of that myself. I don't have strong feelings about it one way or the other. But suddenly, you see things about aliens and there being an alien threat. And, they're talking about it on mainstream news sites. And mainstream politicians, both Republican and Democrat, are talking about the threat from aliens, and the reality of UFOs being piloted by some sort of technology by some sort of intelligence that is not human, and so forth. I mean, you have to be somewhat dense not to see how this all coalesces in a very dystopian way. And fortunately, I am not dense. And that is why I wrote The Insurrectionist. And I believe that if these kind of issues I've been talking about are issues that you take seriously and that concern you as well, I believe that you will like and enjoy The Insurrectionist, and I am recommending that you check it out. You can purchase it from the publisher, you can purchase it from Amazon, although I don't know why you want to make Bezos any richer, but that's up to you. It's your prerogative. You can get it on Barnes and Ignoble on their site as well. But anyhow, I just wanted to explain the reasons why the overall set of circumstances that led me to write The Insurrectionist. I believe it's a different sort of work than anything I've written before, and that's not to say I turn my back on anything that I've written before, because I believe it is of value as well. But I have a very strong sense that this is a work that can and would, or will, hopefully will, resonate with a lot of with much of the populace today. Whereas much of my other work might be more for a certain niche audience. So anyhow, if any of this interests you, give it a look, check it out. You can go on Kindle and get a sample and read the first few pages, see what you think. But I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you giving my book, The Insurrectionist, your consideration. And I will talk to y'all soon.